Good evening, everyone. This is a call to order for the Greater Bridgeport Board of Education. We are here on Monday, June 12th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. at Agriculture School. At this moment, can we have everyone to stand so that we can do the Pledge of Allegiance? I will give Mr. Secretary a second to gather himself so he can do the roll call.
Got it. Let me breathe. Mr. Draper? Ms. Brown?
Here.
Mr. Joe Sokolovic?
Present.
Mr. Wallen?
Say here. Here.
Oh. Mr. Macaron?
Present.
Ms. Akisha Customary?
Here.
Yes? Okay.
Here.
Ms. Okay. Ms. Christina Baptiste Perez? Mr. Benahan, here.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. At this moment, we will have student representative reports. They technically, most of them graduated today, so none of them are here. If someone who is a lower classman does join online, we will acknowledge them. We'll move next to public comment. At this moment, you will have 2 minutes on the clock. Once the bell rings, we ask that you summarize your last statement and then conclude. Our first person we have is Zachary Baraka. Sorry, Zachary.
Good? There we go. Okay, thank you. Hello to the Board of Education, Superintendent of Schools, and parents. My name is Zach Braca, a rising junior at Sacred Heart University. Since January, I've had the privilege to create a youth leadership program for high school students in Bridgeport schools, a part of my internship with the Connecticut Roundtable on Climate and Jobs. In partnership with them, I created Random Acts of Climate, a volunteer educational youth leadership program that empowers Bridgeport high school students to learn about the effects of climate change and make a difference locally. Since the program started back in April, we've had a series of biweekly informational meetings from speakers from various backgrounds in Connecticut who address topics of advocacy, climate change, environmental justice, the importance of mass transportation, how community gardens are helping Bridgeport to help better understand the topics that they were all interested in. Speakers ranged from city officials in Bridgeport, policy directors, nonprofit organization leaders, to others who engage in our robust conversation with students who attend Bridgeport high schools. When we weren't meeting virtually, we were volunteering locally, cleaning up local parks, collecting bags of trash, and I mean bags, keeping our streets clean. To the parents today, this is like a good news. I know it's the last Board of Ed meeting, and to the Board of Ed members, I'm proud to say we're in good shape in the future with our next generation of leaders like them who took initiative to not just talk about the issues, but to actually work to solve the problems and to be change. I couldn't be happier to personally watch the students grow and learn about these topics while questioning the status quo and being curious to find more effective solutions. I wish them the best and the continued success as they continue to use their heart and mind to make a difference for the betterment of our local community. These selfless acts have truly inspired me, and I hope this good news has inspired you all as well. Thank you.
It absolutely has. Can we give him a hand? I thought that was really good.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is David, David. 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 David.
Good evening, board. Glad to be here. First time I'm coming here, but I know a lot of people here, Bobby, Sybil. We've been involved with a lot of things during our lives here. I'm here on behalf of the students of J.D. Tisdale School in the East End, where the city considers the East End the armpit of the city. For the last year, these kids have been walking through broken wine bottles and broken beer bottles in the back of the school at their playground. I have pictures of it. I put it on Facebook this morning because it's ridiculous. We have to do better. These kids do not deserve to have to go to school to walk through broken glass. And the excuse of this school is, well, we don't have one custodian and he can't keep up with the job. Well, let's go to the board and see if the board could get them some more help out there, because we cannot accept this. We cannot accept this. I have 2 grandkids, 2nd and 3rd grade, going to that school, and I'm embarrassed because Miss Tisdale was my science teacher, and she was an educator. She educated us, okay? Back then, we didn't have teachers like her to send us out into the world, but she did. And to put her name on a school that you're not going to take care of is an embarrassment. That's why I'm here, because I am angry. I am very angry at the way that you have let that school be like that. You built that school with millions of dollars, taxpayers' dollars, and then you just leave it there to what? Rot with her name on it? If I was her family member, I would come to Bridgeport and get up a petition to take the name off of a school that you're not going to take care of.
Thank you.
Okay? Let's take care of our kids.
Thank you.
Bobby, love you. Love you
you
too,
too.
Selma.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Ms. Gladys Walker-Jones.
Thank you. That just brings up such a good memory. Jetty S. Tisdale, I'm a product of Jetty S. Tisdale. Good evening. The focus for our local boards of education and superintendents of schools must always be, how can we truly work together to ensure educational excellence for all of our pre-K through grade 12 scholars and their families? Without real equitable community engagement, the focus is a blur. Real equitable community engagement is much more than providing the public with information, often sketchy in an untimely manner, encouraging involvement more often than not during budget season, or sharing power, albeit limited. Real equitable community engagement requires those in power to do all 3 simultaneously. Thank you. Let's make the best decision for the superintendent of Bridgeport Public Schools. If we really care about our kids in this city, we will do nothing less than that. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes public comment. At this moment, we will go into the approval of meeting minutes. Our first one is a regular meeting on May 8th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Benahan, second by Ms. Allen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. The next item is regular meeting May 22nd, 2023.
So move.
Moved by Mr. Benahan. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Traber. I'm gonna give it to Mr. Traber. Any corrections, any updates? All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, those are meeting minutes and approved meeting minutes. Our next one is the chairman's report. I would first like to say congratulations to all of Bridgeport Public School students. We attended graduation today. I believe we shaked over 1,000 students' hands today. So if you guys can all just give a round of applause for our students completing their education today. As always, it's an honor to be Board of Education members, but also too, it's always an honor to see the students excel and do well. Many of them are going to either college or career, and we're excited to have been a part of that. That is all my report for today. I was really excited. The next one is committee reports and referrals. Before we go into committee reports and referrals, I would like to remind each and every one of you, all of our committee meetings are online. They're available, they are posted online and they're available for you to attend in person. Many of them do not allow public comment, but you as an individual, a community member, a stakeholder, you have the opportunity to sit in these meetings, bring your concerns to the chairs of those committees, and also participate by watching, and then most of those items end up on our agenda, on our regular board meeting agenda. So I just want to state that again. Our first committee is Education, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, chaired by Mrs. Sokolovic.
Yes, the committee did not meet in the interim, and seeing as we are at the end of the school year, we will be meeting probably the third week of August in the beginning of September.
Thank you. Are there any referrals to this committee? Hearing none. The next one is Finance, also chaired by Mrs. Sokolovic.
Finance committee has not met in the interim, but we will be meeting Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Virtually.
All right. Are there any referrals for Finance? Hearing none. The next one is Governance, also chaired by Mrs. Sokolovic.
Governance also did not meet in the interim. We will be meeting again in the beginning of the next school year.
The next one is Health, Safety, and Facilities Committee. I'm not sure if Ms. Baptiste Perez has joined us online. I do not see her. We will hold that committee for reports when she comes back. The next one is Personnel and Contracts. We did meet. We met on the last Tuesday in May. Most of the items that we have covered will be on tonight's agenda and also on a special meeting on Thursday. Are there any referrals to this committee? All right, hearing none. The next one is Students and Families. Mr. Benahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Last one was May 25th. We have it was my last one for the school calendar. We have a great turnaround, about the PAC and PTSO. We talk about the handbook for the parents. We talk about LGBT. We're going to be talking with my team and my committee to be sure when we coming back, we can follow everything we talk about the last meeting in our next meeting. We'll come back from vacation will be September 21st, 2023 in Central High School and Library at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Benahan. The next committee is Teaching and Learning. Ms. Baptiste Perez is not here, so we will hold that for when she comes back. The next one is the Superintendent's Report. Ms. Parent.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, our BASIC and BMA update. Dr. Baldwin will be meeting with the stakeholder group on June 14th at 12 p.m. to continue the conversation of BASIC BMA collaboration set forth to take place at the beginning of school year 25. Adult education site. Please note that on Tuesday, May 30th, 2023, members of the facility department, board members, Mr. Sokolovic and Mr. Benahan Grajales, as well as Mr. Traber, all met at a possible site for the Adult Learning Center. The facilities department is completing a cost analysis of site development and seeking other spaces before making any decisions, so more information will come to follow. Awarded grant projects. Columbus School and Harding High School were accepted into the Commissioners Network planning year for school year 2023-24. Congratulations to both schools. Cross, Dunbar, Bridgeport Military Academy, Barnum, Bassick, Harding, and Marin will be receiving funding from the low performing schools bond grants as well. Assessments, the district administered 51,635 assessments out of the 52,328 assigned. Our participation overall on all assignments was 98.68%. On the Smarter Summative ELA, it was 99.29%. Smarter Summative and PT Math was 99.18%. NGSS Summative, 96.11%. Alternative Assessment ELA, 97.95%. Alternative Assessment for Math, 97.13%, and Alternative Assessment Science, 98.20%. The Connecticut Physical Fitness Assessment, our entire district participation for students in grades 3 to 8, 87.8%. Upcoming events, of course, today, as Ms. Brown spoke about, we graduated over 1,000 students at the amphitheater, so that took place today. We have the christening of RVK Williams, which is our newest research vessel, which will be here at Aquaculture School on June 14th at 12 p.m. We'll be doing a christening. Our last day of school for all schools except for Johnson and Columbus will be June 15th, and the last day for Columbus and Johnson will be Friday, June the 16th. Kudos again to all of our graduates. Job well done. Also, math meet results. The Bridgeport Public Schools math meet competition was held on June 1st at Sacred Heart University West Campus. 20 schools, a total of 120 students from grades 7 and 8 participated in the competition this year. The winners were first place, John Winthrop School, second place, Blackham School, and third place, Black Rock School. Most improved was Geraldine Clater School, which is up 8 places from last year. The top students were 8th grade Gravadine RK from Discovery Magnet with 12 points, and 7th grade Alexander Q from Blackham School with 11 points.
Thank you, Ms. Perrin. At this moment, I will open up the floor for board members to have any comments or questions for her report. I'll start to my left. Mr. Gellin, Mr. Benahan, Mr. Sokolovic,
No comments.
Mr. Traber, Ms. Allen, Mr. Macaron,
No comment.
Ms. Kashmir, Ms. Kashmir, and one more time, Ms. Kashmir. Oh. I don't know how much you heard of Ms. Perrin's report. Did you have any comments for a report?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now we're going to move on to old business. Old business is review and discussion of score sheets for the superintendent evaluation of interim superintendent Alicia N. Perrin. Board members, these reports are in your portal. I will mention the process in which it took place. Ms. Perrin was evaluated in 3 areas for her evaluation. The first area is relations with the Board of Education. The next one was community relations, and the third was personal management and relationships. The members that did not participate in this evaluation were Ms. Allen, Mr. Gellin, Mr. Macaron, Mr. Traber. For various reasons, many of them, were new to the board and chose to not participate in this part of the process. Ms. Perrin was evaluated by Ms. Brown, Ms. Baptiste Perez, Mr. Benahan, Ms. Casimir, Mr. Sokolovic. Out of all of the areas that she was evaluated in, her final score came up to 4.33. That is the average score of all the different areas she was evaluated in. At this moment, I will open up the floor for those board members who did evaluate Ms. Perrin to give any thoughts on why you evaluated her the way you did. And by the way, this is considered a good evaluation. So if you're wondering, is it on a 5-point scale? No, she did a really good job in her evaluation. So just want to share that. Oh. And what I'll do is I'll take a moment and allow board members to share thoughts, concerns, any of the areas that you did evaluate her on and you want to share your thoughts, feel free to do that. I will start with Mr. Benahan. Any thoughts from Ms. Perrin? You can. Mr. Sokolovic?
Yes, this is my 6th evaluation of superintendent, interim, regular superintendents, and this is the best evaluation I've given to any superintendent, permanent or otherwise. Interim Superintendent Perrin has been doing a fine job. She's had a lot of hot issues dropped in her lap from previous administration that she's dealt with to varying successes, but all the time in the best interest of the children and informing the board every step of the way when stuff hits the fan. It's just like there's little time bombs waiting to go off, and she's prepared for all of them.
Thank you. Ms. Kashmir?
No comments, thank you.
Mr. Benahan, back to you. I don't think Ms. Perez. Oh, she's here. Okay. If you want, I can let Ms. Baptiste. Ms. Baptiste Perez. We're just going over, let the record reflect Ms. Baptiste Perez is joining us online. We're just going over Ms. Perrin's evaluation. If you want to lend any thoughts, concerns on her evaluation. Oh, she's gone? Okay, she might be coming. Okay, you go ahead.
I don't have the evaluation in front of me, but in general, one of the biggest duties of the interim is to maintain stability in the district as we search for a permanent superintendent. And I thought overall it was very good. I don't have my evaluation in front of me, and I'm about to drive, so I'm gonna have to get off line for now.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Benahan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can say from Ms. Perrin, for the short time she's with us, I'm having a great communication with her. You know, a good thought that everything I need or what any concerns or anything happen with the parents, students, or staff, she take action right away. And I really appreciate that, because the farmers, they will take forever, or they give me excuses. They say they really fix it and they never did it. And we will have a proof of that. But I really appreciate for the short time experiment when you hear that you had communicate with the board members the way it's supposed to be, and you had any issues, I come bring it to you as an interim superintendent. I really appreciate that you make actions and you face the situation, and I respect that and thank you for that. No more comment, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I will share thoughts as well. I think just being able to look at some of the work and also offer her presentation and working with her, I think Ms. Perrin did a really good job at managing in all three areas to the best of her ability in the short amount of time. And I'll just say with, just at any position, definitely, trying to understand how we can move the district forward. And I think she did a fine job at doing that. And what I will do is, because you, the community, in the spirit of transparency, did not get an opportunity to see how the evaluation was done. So I will read off each individual board member and where they scored Ms. Perrin. This will also be placed online, and this will also be placed in her personnel file as well. And we'll see to it that is done. I'll start with Mr. Sokolovic. In the area of relationships with the board, he scored her 4.5. And community relationships, he scored her 4.5. Personal management and relationships, he did not score her in that area, which gave him an overall score of 4.5. Ms. Casimir, she scored Ms. Perrin in relationships with the board a 4. And community relationships, she scored her a 3. And then personnel management and relationships, she scored her a 4, which gave her a 3.67. Mr. Benahan, he scored Ms. Perrin in relationships with the board a 5, community relationships a 5, personnel management 4.2, giving her a score of 4.73. Ms. Baptiste Perez scored Ms. Perrin in relationships with the board a 3.29. Community relationships a 5, personnel management 4.2, which give her overall score of 4.73. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to reread that. She scored Ms. Perrin in relationship with the board 3.92, community relationships 4.17, personnel management, she did not score her, which gave her a 0.5, and I'll explain why they didn't score in those areas. Myself, Ms. Brown, scored Ms. Perrin in relationships with the board, 4.5, community relationships, 4.67, personnel management, 5, giving her a score of 4.72. Board members who chose not to score Ms. Perrin in personal management and relationships was due to not being able to really know the inner workings of her and her team. And I believe that's kind of like explaining it. Mr. Sokolovic, you can also explain your reasoning by that, and I'll let Ms. Perez do the same. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's exactly true. And there's not really enough time to score a personnel issue, and not being there day to day while she's interacting and interfacing with personnel. I didn't feel comfortable scoring that at this time. Haven't heard any complaints, which I do hear complaints from time to time about other superintendents, but that's no basis to put my thing. And if I might just point out one more thing.
Sure.
These were not just one line item things. Each of these scores are based on like 7 or 8 different criteria. So it's more than just us checking a box 4.5, 4.5. There's like 5 or 6 different things under each title.
Correct. And also for the record, Ms. Perrin's evaluation is also, her verbal evaluation is also online if those who choose to look it up as well. Other than that, this concludes the evaluation. I'm not sure if Ms. Perrin would like to say anything. You have the floor. The floor is yours.
So the evaluation process was definitely interesting for me, being new to this position. But I think that the feedback that I received was valuable. And it's something that does give me some insight into being able to move forward if, chosen for this position. Some of the things that need to be focused on as far as the district level personnel as well as building administration. So that's all the only comments I have. When I read through it, I did understand it, and I understood a lot of the reasons why the scores fell the way they did based upon relationships and conversations that I have had with board members. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Perrin. Now moving on to new business. The first item is discussion and possible approval of facilities and operation action plan as presented to utilize our remaining $7.6 million of ESSER funds. This came out of the Health, Safety, and Facilities Committee. I'm not sure who will be presenting on this item. Oh, I see you,
Good
Mr.
evening,
Garcia.
everyone.
Hi, Mr.
How you guys
Garcia.
doing today?
The floor is yours.
I'd like to start off first by, on behalf of the Building Operations Department, congratulating all of the scholars on their graduations today. And we wish them the best of luck on their future endeavors. So as we start to wind down the clock on our ESSER funding, we were charged early on with the task of looking at adding AC to both Columbus and Cross School. We've gone through design, all of our findings, and we've come up with a few issues with both. One is that both projects exceed what we currently have left in ESSER. They came back extremely over budget due to all of the supply chain issues and all of the different nuances with what we're seeing in the industry today. Both projects combined equate to $13 million, $8 million for Columbus School, and $5 million for Cross School. Those numbers are estimates. We feel due to the fact that there are a lot of unknowns, especially at Columbus School, that these budgets are only going to increase. So with that said, we would like to pivot moving forward with several different projects. From our perspective, we feel that we'd like to continue the path that we've been on, that's strengthening the district, laying down a strong foundation that we could build on into the future. With this once in a lifetime, because I say this all the time, opportunity to really right this ship with the district, there's still a lot of different things that we like to accomplish throughout the district. Some of the items that we'd love to get done in the district are things like replacing the AHUs, the air handler units over at Carryout School, which are in dire need. Those current AHUs were taken off of the Roosevelt School when the new construction was happening and shifted over to Carryout, so they're well past their useful life. We'd like to, and that we have designs in on that. We're ready to go to bid for that, so we should be able to get that done in time to meet the ESSER deadlines. We also have designs in for JFK, HVAC in the pool area. We have climate control issues in the pool area, so we'd like to get the HVAC updated to be in line with the rest of the system in the building. We also want to replace 10 boilers throughout the district. These are hard infrastructure that we really would love to strengthen, drive down the cost of operation and be able to reinvest those dollars in other areas. Continue the HVAC control work that we've been doing district-wide. We've unified all of the HVAC onto one head-end unit, and now we would love to start to dial in each individual classroom, so we have total control of the district. We can also drive down costs by truly controlling the environment within the building and providing the service that all the scholars, staff, and parents deserve in the buildings. And then Skane, we have to do some asbestos abatement due to a steam leak, so we're going to replace all of the tile in the hallway and put in new tile. Exterior doors at Marin and JFK. We'd love to do a renewal on the second chiller over at Fairchild Wheeler. And we even have contingency plans if we have dollars left over, additional asbestos work, playground replacement. We look at what's coming with the fiscal cliff. And, it's essential for us to get to a point where we have a stable foundation to build on. The team has been working diligently across the district, both custodial, trades, the management team, to find the best methods that we can find to really stabilize where we are. This is a district that hasn't had consistent, stable funding for infrastructure. So this has gotten us to a point where we're finally on solid ground. but we have to continue the work we're doing. I would love to put AC in both those schools, but we really got to fix what we have out in the field currently, get that to where it needs to be. In the future, we could look at those designs, potentially go to the state Department of Administrative Services and put in a grant application where we pay somewhere around 20 cents on the dollar to get those projects done. And, you know, we wouldn't be able to finish those projects in the time frame anyway, because the duration for Columbus was anywhere from 18 to 24 months. We'd have to relocate the students. And then Cross was shorter duration, but once again, it's one of those things where we'd have to relocate students. So those are really not feasible in the time frame that we have with ESSER winding down.
Is that it, Mr. Garcia?
Yes.
All right, I'll open up the floor for comments for Mr. Garcia's report before we move to a vote. Ms. Casimir, any comments?
No comments. Thank you for your report.
Mr. Gellin?
No comments at the moment.
Mr. Benahan?
No comment for Mr. Garcia. I trust him very well. He knows what he's doing.
Okay. Mr. Sokolovic?
All questions I have have been asked and answered in the facilities meeting.
Mr. Traber?
Garcia. Mr. Garcia, you said the work at Curiel was on what?
AHUs, air handler units on a rooftop. They control the air intake and AC.
And
they're in
then
tough shape.
you said 10 boilers in the district?
Yes.
What schools?
I'll say what I can off the top of my head. I know we're gonna do 2 at Discovery, 1 at Madison, 1 at Marin, 2 at Columbus, CSA. I'd have to get the rest, but you know, I think there's 2 other schools in there. I didn't have the listing with me. I apologize.
Okay. Ms. Allen? Let the record reflect, Ms. Baptiste Perez is in person. I will come back to you in just a minute. Mr. Macaron?
I have no comment. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Ms. Baptiste Perez, this item came out of your committee. This is the Facilities Operation Action Plan for utilizing the ESSER dollars. Do you have any comments for?
No, I think it's good to have the contingency since the projected estimates too high for Cross and Curiel. And I think it has contingency upon contingency in case there's some money left over. It could be used for, I think it was discussed, playgrounds.
Okay.
Playgrounds and additional asbestos abatement.
Okay, I'm going off my memory. Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Very good, though. It's a while ago.
All right, and I have no comments. I also did view this meeting. At this moment, I will entertain a motion to approve this item. Is there a motion on the floor? Would someone like to make a motion? Moved by Ms. Allen.
Second.
Second by Ms. Baptiste Perez. Any questions, comments, concerns? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Garcia. We look forward to updates on this particular project.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
You too.
Thank you.
The next item is discussion and possible approval of awarding Vision RFP going from VSP to IMED for our active staff members' benefits. This should be Mr. Rogers, Mr. Ulysses Rogers. Are you here, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
Board members, this is also in your packets. Mr. Rogers, if you can just give us a small report on this item. This was also covered in committee.
Thank you, board. Good evening. I wanted to quickly go over what we're looking to have approved today. The Vision RFP was presented to the board in the previous contract committee. After further analysis by our outside consultant, Siegel, as well as doing my own analysis, we were able to confirm that over a 3-year span, if we would switch from VSP to IMED, we would be saving $77,000 between the city and BOE with making the switch without suffering any utilization issues or changes in coverage for our vision benefit. So that's where we stand today.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. I'll open up the floor for board members to have any questions or comments. I'll go down the list. Ms. Casimir?
Yes, although I am happy about the amount of money that will be saved. And I heard that you did your due diligence. What I want to know is, I guess, can you tell me a little bit more about why you chose them over VSP? I know that VSP is one of the top of the line companies, so I just kind of wanted to get a little bit more from you, besides the cost, as to
Well-
why you chose a new one.
Well, there were three providers that submitted bids besides the Incubit, which is VSP. Out of the three, IMED, after doing our analysis and scoring on from the financials, utilization, and operating costs, such as fees, they tested out to have the most robust offer that was offered amongst the four different providers. There is a slight decline in utilization from VSP, but it's probably about a 5%. The other two providers, the drop off in regards to service utilization dropped off by approximately 25 to 30%. So we didn't deem them as a viable providers to switch over to because of the utilization issue.
Okay, and this new provider has the same quality of service as VSP or even more, or?
Yes, they have the same quality of utilization when it comes to doctors and providers, as well as offering another option to buy at the employee's cost additional insurance when it comes to their vision coverage, which wasn't offered by VSP. So between that, the claim average, the fees that in comparison to VSP, which is approximately $1.50 total in regards to savings. All those factors factored into our decision with switching to IMED.
Thank you.
Mr. Gelin?
Question, do we know if any of our current holders of VSP would have to change providers when switching over to the IMED?
It's probably less than 2%, possibly. I think there was one provider that we were able to identify that may not be available to use, but other than that, it's extremely low percentage that didn't really affect employees' benefits.
What was the process of looking into that point?
Well, we received it. We did get the information on the provider. I just don't have that information in front of me. It affected probably, I'd say, less than 1% of all city and BOE employees. It was a very small number.
Thank you.
Mr. Benahan?
No question, no comment, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Mr. Sokolovic?
No questions. I just want to reiterate the importance of getting these joint contracts to us in a good amount of time.
Yes, I'm very.
Mr. Traber?
I have no questions either, Mr. Rogers, except to reinforce what Mr. Sokolovic said. You are working on a process model for us in the future.
Yes, I'll have that for you at the beginning of the school year with some other recommendations I would like to add at a later date.
Thank you. Ms. Allen, any questions? Ms. Baptiste Perez?
No questions.
Mr. Macaron?
No questions, thank you.
I have no questions either. Thank you, Mr. Ulysses. At this moment, is there a motion on the floor? Someone like to make a motion, I'm sorry.
So moved.
Motion to award Vision RFP from VSP to IMID for our active staff member benefits.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, I'm going to give that to Ms. Baptiste Perez. So moved by Mr. Sokolovic, second by Ms. Baptiste Perez. Are there any comments, questions, or concerns? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. We look forward to updates on this and timely, making sure we get these items before us in a timely manner. Thank you. Our next item is discussion and possible approval on the RFP for dental carry. This is also Mr. Rogers.
Yes, I provided a copy of the RFP for dental. We are still in the process of grading and doing the analysis, comparative analysis of this RFP. And currently, you guys should have copies of this RFP, and we're just looking to have it approved to be evaluated and then provided to you with all the analysis at a later date.
All right, I'll open up the floor for any comments, questions, or concerns from board members. Ms. Cashmere?
No comments, thank you.
Mr. Gillen?
No comments.
Mr. Benahan?
No comment, Madam Chair.
Mr. Sokolovich?
Nothing here.
Mr. Schreiber? Ms. Allen?
No comment.
Ms. Baptiste Perez?
I didn't have a chance to read this, so I'll ask some basic questions. Is this another joint RFP between the city and Bridgeport?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so this is the RFP, but when are we looking to actually execute it so we can have that kind of in the board's kind of state of mind, even though you're going to keep us abreast in the future?
Well, we're in the process of receiving the bids now. We're going to be going over the analysis with our outside consultant Siegel, and we're going to start grading the submissions at this point. Once we're done with the committee selections and analysis of the different providers, then as soon as we're confirmed what we agree upon, we'll provide it to the board. I know that you guys are shut down for the summer, so it won't be evaluated till August, but we're hoping if there is an emergency meeting during the summer that we could be a part of it so we don't delay this RFP.
I have a question for Madam Chair. Are we shut down during the summer?
We only meet as needed.
So we could meet if needed for this, right?
We could have special meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the fiscal calendar starts July 1, business is being conducted, and this is a district with a lot of needs. So if we have to have special meetings over the summer, even if it's just once a month, so we can not get bombarded by the beginning of the school year, I think it's worth it. I have no more questions or comments.
Yeah, I'm a little confused. I heard us analyzing some bids that were coming in. Did I hear that wrong? And there shouldn't be any sense of urgency if the RFP has not been issued yet, and if we're approving the RFP issued tonight, because from what I understand, it takes quite a few weeks to get through the city. It takes time to get the bids back once the RFP is approved. So how would we get bids back so quickly by the time before September?
Well, this RFP was issued some time ago, similar to the Vision RFP. Our goal was to have it approved prior to September 1st. That's the reason for the urgency here. Again, moving forward, you will be notified in a much timely manner when it comes to joint RFPs between the city and BOE. We're just, we want to make sure that we're trying to stick to the deadlines that we have, since we're in the process of going through receiving the overall analysis by our outside consultant, and then doing our due diligence on our end with grading what we find from the bidders.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, based on that information, I can't in good conscience vote to retroactively approve something that's already been done.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers, in the same vein, I don't recall you telling us at the committee meeting that the RFP had been issued. My recollection was that instead of a July 1, y'all were pushing back the date to September 1st, and that the RFP would be issued and analyzed over the summer pending approval at this board meeting.
Yes.
So now I'm confused. If it's already been issued, what has our approval got to do with anything?
Well, the RFP hasn't been issued in regards to the analysis and the grading. It's just a simple approval that getting your permission with the city to actually go over the data, the analysis data of this particular RFP.
Oh, I thought somebody was speaking behind me. I guess I'm confused about the RFP, what it's for then. We're requesting proposals for dental insurance, aren't we?
Yes.
So
Yes.
how can we be analyzing bids
Well,
when we haven't issued a proposal?
Well, this is the thing. To my understanding, I believe that you guys wanted to see the actual RFP itself before it was approved in BidSync. That's what I was instructed in previous meetings.
And so if we haven't approved it, how can a bid have been issued?
Well, this was
A request for proposals.
This was again done prior to, just like the Vision RFP. That's why it was brought up in the contracts committee. This was already submitted to the city to submit it into BidSync. We just haven't submitted it to any our outside consultant for any type of analysis, or any bids weren't received at that particular time. It's just simply the RFP showing you that we're going out to bid, and the approval that it's going out to bid.
That you've gone out to bid already?
Yes. Yes.
Regardless of whether we approved it or not.
Well, this, again, in the previous meeting, I thought it was clear that this is also a similar issue like the Vision RFP that was already out with the city.
Very similar issue. I understand that. But my recollection of the meeting was you didn't tell us it was already out to bid. So
I want
the record to show that. And that's why this process that you're now going to make us wait till the end of the summer to see needs to be put in place, because this is not a new problem from what I understand.
Process information will be given to you as soon as possible. I can give it to you earlier if we're going to meet during the summer. But I thought we were clear in the contracts committee meeting about the Vision RFP.
No, not to me.
Okay, I just want to be clear. I'm going to basically ask a series of yes or no questions. Has an RFP been issued for dental services? Yes or no?
An RFP has gone out.
If RFP has gone out.
Yes.
Have we gotten back any bids yet?
Bids have come in, but we haven't done any analysis yet.
So you are asking this board, because the agenda item says RFP for dental carrier. We can't approve something retroactively, so that's gone. So what you're looking for is approval to look at something you're already looking at?
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is just unacceptable. I'm just at a loss of where to go to from here, but there's, I don't know, we got to do better.
The dental RFP, if you guys don't mind, the dental RFP was in the similar status as the Vision RFP, where it already had went out to BidSync at the time that I came in to do the contracts committee. It was in the same status. It wasn't a part of the new business when it comes to the board meetings, so we were in a rush to try to get the Vision approved. I brought it to the contracts committee meeting and presented this RFP in the last contracts committee to be reviewed by the board because it had gone out already, and I'm trying to make sure that we're going by our new processes and procedures, that you are receiving the RFP as soon as possible prior to us actually working on it, working on the RFP. At that particular moment, it was already sent out. It wasn't, we didn't receive any information. It was just simply the RFP at that particular moment that was approved in BidSync. And that was in April when this occurred.
Thank you. Further questions?
No, I think he just answered it, that it was sent out to bid originally back in April. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, that was the only question I had.
Okay. At this moment, if there's no further questions, we'll see if there's a motion on the floor. Is there a motion on the floor? I'll ask again. Is there a motion on the floor? So and I'll ask again, is there a motion on the floor? So, Mr. Ulysses, this item cannot be voted on because there has not been a motion properly placed on the floor. I believe we need to discuss possibly at contracts, where do we bring this back up again? Because I'm not sure what we would do next in order to move this forward, besides it's already out there for bid. Yes.
Yeah, what are the ramifications should the board not do anything? I feel like it would be another situation with the IMED and VSP, correct?
Correct.
So it's a situation that is this essentially the board trying to have a seat at a table that's already on a moving train?
I wouldn't necessarily say that because we haven't done any analysis yet. It's simply the approval to move forward with doing the analysis at this point, to be able to provide it to the board so you guys can make a conscientious decision on whether or not it's the right move for the Board of Ed in the district.
And this decision is going to be made by September 1, or should
We
be?
were shooting to have this approved, totally approved, with after we have the analysis done with the particular bidders, and have it approved so we can be ready to go by 9/1. If necessary, I would have to let the city know, and there could be a possible delay on meeting that deadline.
Okay, and if there's a delay meeting that deadline, are you trying to say BOE and city employees wouldn't have dental coverage?
They would have dental coverage. We would have to stay with VSP at their current rates.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gellin.
But just to be clear, if we don't move on this motion at the moment, but you return with the RSP with the analysis, there wouldn't be any delays.
It depends on when you guys have a meeting. If you're going to have a meeting in the summer, then it wouldn't be a real delay because we're still in the analysis process.
I just think the trouble here is the motion, we're asking for a motion for something that has already started. So to Mr. Sokolov's point, to retroactively approve something is a moot point. So coming back, maybe with something we could discuss as a board, maybe come back with the RSP with the analysis. I think that's the appropriate junction that we meet, but certainly moving forward, we shouldn't have this situation at our desk anymore.
Absolutely. It's totally clear in regards to what the procedures are moving forward. And I will provide that any RFP information prior to it actually being approved and sent to BidSync moving forward, any additional shared RFPs that we have. It was just the timing of, making sure that we had our processes and procedures clear, that the dental RFP fell under the same parameters as division.
Thank you. Mr. Sokolovic?
Yeah, I just want to clear something up. This is not something new that's hitting us. It's not really a new policy created. This is what was supposed to be done before. This has happened to the board before. We had basically a 2-to-1 vote to approve the last time when the Medicare and Medicaid issue came up, or if it was workers' comp. And this issue came up and we wanted it rectified back then. The reason we approved it back then is because we were told that people would be thrown off their benefits and this and that. But unless we send a clear message, we're not going to rubber stamp anything. Where our funds, where our cities, where our children's funds are concerned, which we're stewards of, without the city coming to us beforehand and just letting us know and just having a clear preciseness, because this is a joint contract, a partnership. Unless we're treated like equal partners with the city, with our own little city full of children that we're responsible for, they're going to continue to do this over and over again. So since the dental coverage will continue, nobody will be thrown off their benefits. I think we just go out for a new RFP and just get new bids from this. I mean, it might have an extra cost, but that's not our fault. We are complying with the law. We are complying with our partnership. We are doing our due diligence, but we're not getting the information from the city in a timely manner. It's not being brought from us in a timely manner. And those rules and stuff you're coming up with, they're already in place. You can't issue a contract in the Board of Education's name for the city. If it's a joint contract, we both got to sign off on it, and that needs to be made abundantly clear to the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Last, Mr. Traber?
Yeah, again, Mr. Rogers, there is nothing in the new process that I recall other than to clearly state that we should know all this well ahead of time. There's nothing about us voting to approve your analyzing bids. There's a vote to issue an RFP, and then there's a vote to approve your proposed acceptance of one of those proposals. There's nothing that we vote to have you say, go ahead and analyze the data. You do that anyway.
I totally,
Apparently you go ahead and issue proposals anyway too. So I understand the frustration of the city being disrespectful. You, sir, work for us, and you should be covering and protecting our interests. And it would seem to me that this is a continuation of a problem that we discussed with great clarity about the vision, because you started that process in January. And yet, a month ago, we were not given the impression that the bid was out and y'all were going to get proposals in. We were given the impression that you needed us to move quickly to approve this proposal so that you could get a bid in, not July 1st anymore because it was so late, but by September 1st. And so there's just been a misrepresentation of reality here. And that's between you and us, not between us and the city. And so I just want to leave that on the record, that that's you reporting to this board.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Your comments and your statement. Again, prior to us discussing and coming to an agreement of what the procedures would be moving forward, this RFP was submitted by the city to the purchasing department in April. We were still establishing what should be done. I again let you know that moving forward from that particular date, which was in May, that this would not move forward with any additional RFP moving forward, which it will not. I brought it to the contracts committee because it was already submitted at that time. Just the RFP, had no other information on bidders at that particular moment. No analysis had been done at that moment. It's simply just providing the RFP that was submitted by the city to BidSync. And the city is aware. The city has been notified and aware of the new procedure. I've spoken with my contacts there, and moving forward, they are in agreement that this is how the approval of the shared RFP should moving forward.
And just again, we were not informed that it had even been issued. So I leave that on the record. Thank you.
All right, I'll ask Mr. Macaron, do you have any questions or comments concerning this item? We didn't hear from you, sir.
No, I'm fine. I'm just kind of surprised also, like Mr. Traber, maybe Mr. Sokolovic is. That's all.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Ulysses, we will not continue conversation on this item. What we will do is we'll look to have more information coming from your office to the superintendent's office to our office on what is the next plans for this particular item. All right? Thank you.
Okay.
Our next item is discussion and possible approval to issue solicitation for the annual food service bid for 2023-2024 school year. This is Mr. Steele.
Hi, good evening. We're seeking approval for our annual food service bids. The items chosen will complete our new menu cycle. This menu will be for all new breakfast, lunch, and after-school supper at the elementary and high schools. Thank you.
Thank you. At this moment, I will take an opportunity to see if any board members have any questions on this particular item. I will start with Ms. Casimir. Any thoughts, concerns on this item?
No, not right now. Thank you.
Mr. Gellin?
No thoughts or comments at the moment.
Mr. Benahan?
No comment, but please, Mr. Steele, don't forget our water the next time. Thank you. No. Cool.
Okay. Mr. Traber? Ms. Allen? Ms. Baptiste Perez?
No comment.
Mr. Macaron?
I'm good.
All right, I also have no comments as well.
Sorry,
Um,
Madam Chair, just one
Okay, yes,
question.
go ahead. Ms. Cashmere has a question for you, Mr. Steele.
Is there a gluten-free option on the menu? Just a question.
Yes, we always will offer a gluten-free option. If it's not a complete gluten-free meal, it's a side, a sandwich, or a salad.
Thank you.
All right, would someone like to make a motion? Mr. Traber, go right ahead. Is there a second? Okay, Ms. Allen, second by Ms. Allen. Are there any further comments or questions? Hearing none?
I have a question. I'm
Ms.
just
Baptiste.
curious, in comparison to the previous year, are there any significant changes to the food options?
Mr. Steele?
Significant changes, can you elaborate? I'm sorry.
So any changes that you'll like to note? So I'm going to assume we didn't add any additional sugary drinks or products to the menu. Are the prices somewhat consistent from previous years? Have we seen an increase in prices? I always think it's somewhat better, at least for me, to have an analysis from the prior year to this one. So I just want to know if there were any changes.
As of right now, we won't know the changes until we go out to bid. That's why I didn't include any prices or notes from the previous year's bid. And then after that, I can offer that information.
Thank you.
All right, so the item has been properly seconded. It has been open for comments and questions. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Hearing none, motion carries. Mr. Still, we look forward to hearing an update on this.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our last item is discussion and possible nomination for the appointment of Bridgeport Public Schools Superintendent. I will open up the floor for nominations. This is an elected position for the Board of Education, so I'll open up the floor for nominations. You can nominate whomever you like. Just want to keep in mind that each individual will have an opportunity to vote on whoever that is.
I'd like to nominate Alicia Perrin for superintendent.
There's Ms. Perrin.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Camilla Levy-David.
All right, so both candidates have been nominated. At this moment, are there any comments, questions? All right, we could take it to a vote at this point. All right, yes, Mr. Shako, yes.
I suggest we go through a roll call and everybody states their preferred candidate.
Could do that. All right, Mr. Secretary, would you like to start?
Are we going to say the two names, persons who are going to be voting?
So each individual
They will
board
say the
member will
name.
have an opportunity to say which candidate they would like to.
Gotcha. Understand.
support.
Thank you. All right, Alan Sabo,
Ms. Sybil? Okay.
Ms. Christine Baptiste Paris,
Dr. Carmela Levy-David.
Ms. Bobby Brown,
Miss Alicia Perrin.
Ms. Akeisha Casimir,
Dr. Carmela M. Levy-David.
Mr. David Gillen,
Dr. Camilla Levy-David.
Mr. Michael Macaron,
Dr. Camilla Levy-David.
Mr. Joseph Sokolet,
Miss Alicia Perrin.
Mr. Robert Traber,
Ms. Perrin.
and Mr. Benahan, Dr. Camilla Levy-David.
Ms. Allen?
Ms.
Ms. Perrin?
Okay. Madam Chair, board members and community, we have 4 for Ms. Perrin, and we've had 5 for Dr. Camilla Levy-David.
At this moment, Ms. David is not here, but I would like to congratulate Miss Carmela Levy-David. I would also like to say congratulations to Ms. Perrin on a job well done for our district.
Madam Chair.
One second. Our next process will be, we will update Ms. Levy-David. She'll be updated by the firm. And from there, we'll start her next process with the Board of Education. Would you like to,
Yes,
Mr. Bennett?
Madam Chair, before we adjourn, as the Secretary of Education, I'd like to say thank you, Ms. Perry, for all your hard work. Thank you for the time you was here. It was an honor to have you. You did a great job for the short time. That's not me. You're not going nowhere. We just going to keep working with you. You are very example give example to all the board members and to give it to the community, staff and everything. And it was an honor to work with you. And thank you for everything. God bless you. And Mr. Benehan Garahalis will be here for anything you need. Thank you for so much for everything. God bless you and your family.
Here, here.
I would like to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Okay, moved by everyone, second by everyone. Everyone have a good night and have a good summer.
Good night.
See you Thursday.
See everyone Thursday for the special meeting.
I don't know if it may be, but I'd like to know what decision, how they came to their conclusions.
So we did a community forum that each board member was presented with the survey for the candidates. And from there, the board members will have the opportunity to sit down and see how they would assess the candidates based off of the community forum and the interview process.
I'm still a little biased. I do still a little biased. Yeah, I see something too, but.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, but I see it. Thank you. It's all right. Everybody has to live with their decisions.
That's right, and I see it